Hi students, if you have checked the group, right, you know I've sent a video last week or a few weeks ago about the how to analyze the matrix multiplication, and if you have watched and understand that video, this question should be not too hard to you. So what do this convolution doing? The convolution, right, essentially is transforming a picture to something else. Example, this is the original picture, right? This is the original picture. After we apply the kernel, if I don't know what do this call convolution, maybe this is the kernel. After we apply the kernel to this image, right, what we get is this is called as a. If you want to look at the demo, right, let me show you. Example, we change this to -1, right, follow back the formula, the picture will become black and white like this. So this kernel is usually used in a image processing application. That's why they gave us this task to somehow play with or implement it to Java. Let's look at the question. So the question say, below is an exaggerated example of how this can detect a line. The left of the convolute matrix is considered very bright, a high value, and the right is a dark, low value, using a vertical kernel, best kernel. You are able to produce a line with the result array. So what do this mean? I also don't know what do this mean, so don't worry about it. If you look at this, right, one represents a very bright line. One represents a very bright line. This is the first thing we can see. And how about 0? 0 is a gray line. And -1 is a very dark line. So initially, right, say our image is divided to half and half. So we get a white and gray line. So after we apply this kernel matrix, right, we multiply it, the result we get is this one. This is the T, and 0, 0. Then we get this result. This is a very basic thing. This is a white, and this is a gray. This is a basic thing you need to know if you wish to know what this convolution mean. This is what the image mean. Let's further look at the formula. Your task is to take kernel k times k. K is just the size k times k located in kernel.java supplied on the blackboard. So you need to log into your OSIS and download the document and perform a convolution operation to a 2D matrix n times m. 2D matrix of n times m. Again, kernel is k times k. The convolution is a 2D matrix located in the convolute.java supplied on the blackboard. You need to produce a n minus k plus 1 times with n minus k plus 1. What is this thing? This is the size of the matrix. So you input a convolution operation to an image, right? At first you get the n times m size matrix, right? If you get the n times m times m is just a size, n times m, you multiply with a kernel of size k times k, right? What is the output? The output is n minus k plus 1 times m minus k plus 1. This is not a formula, this is a size of the matrix. Okay, I give you an example. Say this n times m, right? We give this, let's say at times 4. Let's say at times 4. And this k, right? Let's say this kernel is 2 times 2. 2 times 2, So n is what? N is at minus k is 2, right? At minus 2 plus 1 over time with 4 minus 2 plus 1. So we are expected to get 7 times 4 minus 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. We are expected to get a 7 times 3 matrix. A 7 times 3 matrix means, right, it's a row, 7 row and 3 column. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 3 column. So far can you understand? This is what the expected result would be. And if you saw my last week analyze of the matrix, you basically can apply to here. I already mentioned last week how to analyze the pattern. So let's look at the general formula. The formula is x time n minus I time with m minus j time with what is this, omega ij. Do you understand this formula? I absolutely don't understand. Okay, let's break this down. What do omega mean? I have no idea, but the main thing you need to look is this formula. If you know this formula, right, you can write your algorithm already. This one I seriously don't understand what does this mean, omega. But I can show you how to multiply this. Let me erase everything and show you how this actually works. So it gives you this kernel vertical, right? What you do is you take this thing, you take this, you apply to the first one, you apply to the first one, you apply to the first one. This, let's look at this first. We use this one, multiply with this one, plus with 0, multiply with 10, and negative 1, multiply with 10. Then we are going to sum it up. We multiply with 1, 0, negative 1 to the corresponding part. And then 1, 0, negative 1 to this part. Then we would get the result as, you multiply everything and add it together, right? The first value you get is 0. Let's perform a second task. So how do the second one work? The second one is you need to shift it to another block. You 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 shift it to another block. Then you multiply 1 with 10. You multiply 0 with 10. And negative 1 with 0. So what does this result? 10 times 1 is 10. And then 10 times 0 is 0. Negative 1 times 0 is 0. So you get a 10. The first row is 10. After you calculate the first part, let me use this is the first part. Just now we calculated the first part as 0, right? Now we are going to calculate the second part. After you calculate the first one in here, right? You calculate the first one in here, then you need to shift the block to the next block. Next block. You shift to the next block. So you shift to the next block in here. So what you do is you multiply 1 with 10, 0 with 10, and then negative 1, you multiply negative 1 with 0, and then this row is also the same. You multiply each on here, and then you add everything, negative 1 times 0. So the first row, right, 1 times 10 is 10, 0 times 10 is 0, negative 1 times 0 is 0. So this first row, right, this first row is 10. Second row is also 10. Third row is 10. When you add this together, you get 30. So we get 30 in here. So far, can you understand? And after you perform the calculation, right, you can continue to move on. Then you will calculate the third block. You shift the square to here. The same lah. Here is 10, right? 10 times 1 is 10. 0 times 0 is 0. Negative 1 times 0 is 0. So the first row is also 10. 10, 20, 30, because you need to sum this up. So this is also 30. And then let's use the blue color. And then you shift to the next block. Next block is here. you shift to the next block. And when you shift to this block, you count, right? 1 times 0 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0, negative 1 times 0 is 0. I am counting here, yeah? When you sum this up, this is 0. So what do this result in? After you multiply this 0, this 0, this 0, so this 0 and this result in 0. So this one, 0. So far, can you understand? After you multiply all, right, can we move to another block? Nothing to do already, right? Then you need to shift to this. You need to shift. Let me use the purple. And then you need to shift to here. You need to shift to here. You need to shift to here, here, here. This is the second one you need to count. This is basically how a convolution works. After you multiply this, right, the value you get is this one. And then you shift to the next block again. Is there any other color? Let's say sky blue. Okay. Then we shift to this block. We shift to this block. We shift to this block. Shift to this block. Multiply it. And then we get this one. And this continue to count. And basically that is what you need to do. But you don't have to worry about this too much. The main formula you need to analyze is this one, like I said just now. The main thing you need to analyze is this one, this formula. You need to look at this formula. This formula is a very good representation already. Example, we have 3 rows, right? So you need to sum up the first row. This is the first row. Second row, you need to sum up the second row. And you need to sum the third row. This is what the pattern do. So far, can you understand or not? Because this has three, right? When we convolute, we move the kernel to here, right? We need to sum up the first row, second row, third row, right? How I count just now. Then this is how you get the t just now. And I hope this simple explanation able to make you understand this question more. If you don't have any question, don't be shy. Go ahead and ask in the chat so everyone can help everyone. This is how you learn.